apology for all, and sorry about that, but just fixing up some stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards here a little bit, and while I do, I am going to read off a few things that I got about your reading as I was thinking about it over the last 4 days, more or less, since the 26th. So on the 26th, I had the feeling that Libra, as soon as I asked Source about you, and not even getting started with the Capricorn reading, I got yellow lights. Caution came to mind, and then slow down. This Mercury retrograde is going to make us all do that, of course, um, but by like not having a sense of patience to endure what uh, what may lag during the Mercury retrograde. Um, this is an evolution of, basically that energy. It's like, being patient and, having that understanding of like not missing the exit when you need to exit. Like you're on the freeway right now, things are going fast, but as soon as Mercury says, hey, you know what, slow down, you can't miss that exit. You can't just be even more hurried than before, right? That just makes those mistakes that we're all known to know Mercury by, right? So let me see. I got something like wear and tear has occurred, and like a car with faulty parts. This is a moment to look at it, look into your car and fix it, or look into your body and fix it. The reading seems, the information there seemed subject and, seems very physically based. So, I was going to see what else popped up. And so what I got was, okay, these are some of the parts that I'm going to read that I have as just my notes that I didn't put into the description. But where is the unknown? What is the unknown, right? Well, that's unknown, frankly speaking, and so it's where Libra is headed. And to start off, the unknown, I start off with the unknown because I feel part of what happens for Libra is dependent on some kind of aspect of how they move forward into this unknown. And so as I do these readings for all the signs, and especially for you, Libra, I already did it for Capricorn as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the cards out month by month. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle the cards and see what comes up at the bottom, so I can get just a little bit more background info while I go ahead and read what I intuitively got. So this was yesterday, and so I feel part of what happens for Libra is dependent on some kind of aspect with how they move forward into the unknown space. The words are guide, and with that I would assume a mentor or some kind of personal teacher, like a master of some kind. I would also put in another keyword to be expert, or expert in your craft, or a master, right? This is something that like came up as me asking the question. I reached further into the other to try to get some more information. The other, I would assume, would know what the unknown is, or where it is, or why we haven't seen it. But then again, just stepping out into some new part of town could be unknown for you. So whatever that would mean for you, this reading feels like it's telling you to go. Okay, go into the unknown and make it known. Make it known kind of sounds to me to infer that maybe you yourself may be a master and don't even know it. That would mean, in the inner plane. Mercury retrograde then would mean it revolves around you looking at what you know, right? What you love and what you are good at, and generally they should all come home in on one, or they should all hone in on one specific thing, not two or three, right? The dressing of the dressing of the salad. That's what's key here. The dressing of the salad is just as important as how you undress the salad. So I'll get into that in a little bit. Let's see. Undressing the salad is specifically honing in on that one thing. So We'll find out how that plays a role in your reading here. Let me see. Let me look at it real quick just to remember it. Okay, honing in on one or two things and learning how to dress the salad. Learning to undress the salad is a lot harder than trying to dress the salad, but at the same time, dressing the salad is very easy. Trying to undress the salad is trying to break apart something that's a whole into various different parts, right? Kind of hard to do that when everything's all mixed together, right? Okay, so then that means that there's a necessity for detailed work or details, picking out details in various different things. Something that comes to mind just right now off the top of my head. And I think what this is also talking about is the ability to pick out the details in your everyday life that would lead you to your happiness or something like that. One thing that comes to mind is, a lot of people don't like to look at the issues in their lives, but a lot of the times looking at the issues is really the best way to get rid of the things that are bothering you in your life. So once you get rid of the problem by offering a solution, then what ends up happening is you no longer have a problem, right? And anytime that problem pops up, you already have a solution, or you have an evolved solution to take care of that issue. Preparations is something that I get in this reading too. So let's see, 5 of Swords in the reverse. 5 of Swords, okay, yeah. So this card says, today I am brimming with energy and overflowing with joy. All right, so I think that is one thing that, Libra, you can tell yourself. If you guys have a Capricorn in your life, Capricorn maybe who's been talking about values lately, or maybe a Capricorn who has high standards or high values, or maybe not even just that, but like if you've been with the Capricorn lately, you would hold yourself to high standards. I mean, that's just the natural process of things, and that's actually how you win. If you don't, you're just shying away from your responsibilities. So there's that. The key here is to hone in on specific spiritual aspects, because that's what I keep getting in this reading, is the spiritual and physical, and then the spiritual and emotional. So we'll find out how the spiritual and the physical interact. Also, what else? Okay, so unity comes to mind, and if so, then unity should show itself within this reading at some point. Okay, the circumstances around, and then I'll let you know the circumstances around that card. But more so, I think this reading is going to evolve around you reaching unity within yourself, Libra. So that's one of the major aspects that I get, is you reaching unity within yourself. Let's see. Before you go into the unknown, that's a wise choice, and I would say seek out an oracle. I would also say the number that I have shown here is 807. This is a number that just popped up to me earlier last night when I was writing it. As I came up with that idea, I don't know why it just came up to me, so I was like, okay, whatever. Go back to 807 on the video to see what I was talking about. That might connect those two things there too. And if you have seen 807, go ahead and comment it, Okay, so I got the idea that 2 choices exist. One where you are confident, and one where you are broken. So, Page of Swords. I feel like this has to do a lot with like how you view various different situations, and I think it has something to do with how you view the opportunity behind it. Maybe there's certain things that you're looking at that don't seem like they have very much value to them, but then later on maybe you see that they do have value. But here's the thing though, you know how they say that first impressions are very, very important? Well, that's actually very, very important, and just even the phrase of saying that itself is very it's very interesting if you think about it. So pay attention to that. This reading seems to revolve around worth as well. The Page of Swords. He's very observant of a lot of different things. So, you know, this to me, you know, tells me that there's a necessity for you to be observant about various different things in your life. More so, I would say, instead of pointing the periscope out, I would say flip it around and point the periscope in. You know, point it towards you, your heart, your soul, all of that. Okay, and because, you know, if you're looking on the broken side, lack of any creativity, new ideas, and just a general Nine of Swords types feel, is a feeling of depression, and it's a downward spiral. So we want to avoid that. Oh, look at that. I just split the deck, and I was telling you about an opportunity. This card wasn't there yesterday, but this card, for whatever reason, did pop out to me at the, I don't know if it was at the bottom of the deck, the top of the deck, I don't know, but I was talking about grabbing opportunities or being aware of opportunities. I think maybe somewhere on, later in this thing that I'm reading here, that I wrote yesterday, will show something about that. Okay, so on the confidence side, a general sense of understanding. Oh, I remember, it was the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. So that was that that negative 9 feeling, right? The lack of confidence and lack of creativity. The Nine of Swords, I mean, the Nine of Pentacles also has a bird. That bird is the word, and the word is God or creativity or love. And, you know, this reading was revolving around love anyways. So, well, about the energy of love and the energy of compassion. So, on the confidence side, a general sense of understanding how things move, cycles and their time spans, with the wisdom of countless eras and consciousness. And, of course, the confidence that is unlike that of any salamander card, like that of the King of Wands. This is more of a calm and a clear, concise confidence that comes from being able to understand the cycles and act accordingly. To go along with it, new opportunities in which you would be ready to grab them by the horns. I think we all know which one Libra is looking for, right? So, there needs to be a connection between you, yourself, and the universe. And this connection may be connected to karma or understanding your actions to understand your karma. This is how balance is reached. You have at this point, the balance you have at this point in time isn't quite balanced, is it? And, you know, this could be, or this could suggest that a connection has been made and then the connection to others is necessary or broken at some point. And this is the age of Aquarius, so connections will be key. Also, family seems to be a key phrase popping up, and until this is done, a new journey cannot be reached. So, or cannot be made. This seems to suggest the idea that this may come in the form of an intuitive push or a thought, perhaps the Page of Pentacles, right? And either or, you know, either or is an intuitive push or a thought. Look to your everyday world for that source of creativity and inspiration. There may be fear connected to making these connections, or or getting out there, and the fear might actually be more of an anxiety rather than a clear-cut fear. So if you observe your daily reality, you'll find the key, the answer, or the strength to keep searching for the information necessary for that inspiration. Dang, you cannot make this up. So, okay. Let's see. It might actually be more of a clear. It might actually be a more. Let me see. There may be fear connected to these connections, or the fear of getting out might actually be more of an anxiety rather than a clear-cut fear. And if you observe the daily reality, you'll find the key, right? As soon as you find it, jump on the action. There seems to be energy suggesting that when you need guidance, a guide will be there. Element of trust in the universe or spirit is here. I asked Source for an affirmation to help you in centering and allowing yourself to shine brightly, and it gave me the Ace of Spades, or the Ace of Swords. It reads, I use my time and talents to help others. Clearly, the affirmation is getting you ready for the greater role in this reality or dimension you have built for yourself, and Spirit wants to ask if you are ready to step into that. The card at the bottom of the deck was card 7. Um, the bottom of the okay, so the bottom of the deck is a 7 of Hearts, and this one reads, I am guided in my every step by Spirit who leads me towards what I must know and do. Clearly, that is a Queens of Wands type energy there, and I mentioned something about clear cut confidence and guidance. Love and compassion is needed here, and when I drew my playing cards, 6 of Swords popped up, so I was going to keep it to myself and see what elements of the reading would encompass that, but here I am saying it. The 6 was important in this reading, so keep an ear out, okay? Angel numbers 33 equals to 6, and this is referring to creativity, connection to source, and it's emphasized here. That was also another thing that I was getting that was emphasized by the creativity and the energy that you would normally receive when you get it from the universe, and usually when you build it from the universe in the source of, in the form of an egg, right? Like kind of slowly developing it, mastering it, etc., etc. So, if we look at the salad, this card right here is usually about reaching some type of emotional balance. So that seems to be something that's here in this reading today. The 5 of Swords is a air card, so it seems to evoke a sense of like confidence of the mind. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Swords here too, so that seems to denote some type of confidence as well. And of course, this guy, he seems a little anxious, but he's got the upper hand. He's got the top position. Regardless of whether you feel like you don't know what's going to come next. Let's see. Let me draw a color for you. Green. Shamrock. Okay. Lucky to know you. So if there's somebody in your life that has, a lot of meaning to you, make sure that the next time you see them, tell them, hey, lucky to know you, so that they gain that appreciation. The 6, there's also 6, which equals to 12 and employs the energies of Jupiter, the energies of expansion, but reduces to 3, which is communication, networking through perhaps text or email, and seems to incorporate the energy of Mercury and Gemini. 7, analysis is the only work I get, perhaps revised to that. Okay, yeah. Here into the next day, 33 is an important number in this read, so we will see if anything else. Pops up. On my way to the park, I didn't see anything, didn't think of anything. The stones for you, Libra, were pink quartz and euconite. Euconite revolves around harmony by way of promoting balance between your spiritual and emotional bodies, and this sounds like a download for sure. So this stone suggests a shift in perspective. This seems to be something of the mind, or maybe it seems to be a shift in perspective of the heart, how you identify with things. It seems to incorporate a lot of the energy of Taurus, and then of course this is a Mercury retrograde in Taurus, so that's not too far-fetched. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw some cards while I read the rest of this right here. And so the experience that you're experiencing right now, Spirit is saying, go ahead and make the best of it, the best that you can. And, do it in a positive way, not a malicious way. The universe wants you to look at life with gratitude. So it's also asking you to dig deep into your wisdom and dig deep into your passion for that fire that's within you. Because that's going to play a key important role in you understanding how you reach this sense of creativity, this sense of compassion, this sense of love. And no matter how messed up those situations should seem, the resulting gratitude should create the opportunity for wealth, and also should offer protection for you and your auric field from low vibrations, dark thoughts, and so on. And the pink quartz itself, it's a stone for compassion, love, and attracting more of it. So, oh yeah, definitely something having to do with understanding your self-worth, because when the peacock shows up, there has to do a lot with whether you realize your own inherent worth or not. Okay. Let's see what else. 8 would suggest that you need to do some self-care. I feel like your ideas, your thoughts, your emotions, you're just floundering in the dark. I did mention something about stone protection from darkness, so a euchainite can do that. If you know anybody who has a euchainite, go ahead and have them pass it on to you, at least for the month of May. That should help you to dress the salad properly by understanding how the salad is undressed. Let's see. All right, the crocodile. So I feel like there will be an emergence of something for you after floundering in the dark, because I feel like you're already floundering in the dark, but at the same time, I don't think you've ever reached the full brunt of what it means to flounder in the dark. I mean, there's always been some sense of support I feel for you, Libra, in some way, shape, or form. And so I'll just keep it at that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and draw some of these ones, and we're gonna go ahead and see what is going on for the months ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and start drawing them, and I'll worry about doing the reading after that. Just want to go ahead and get through with this as quickly as possible. I know Libra's got stuff to do, and yeah, my Libra is probably wondering what I'm doing right now too, because she asked, "What am I doing?" and I can't cut the video just to answer that. So, okay. So Mick the Necromancer. This talks about details, and this talks about looking at the greater picture. So we'll see. What's your greater role in the bigger picture, right? That might be something that you may be asking yourself. The Pook, right? Seeing the good and the bad. This is seeing the bad in the good. Seeing the bad in the good will allow you to it would allow you to well, it allows you to solve your solutions, one, but at the same time it also allows for the ability for you to change your everyday reality. So leave the shadow. That comes out to 8. 8 is going to be important. Oh.
Your favorite one.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
They just brought me a C4. How about that? Oh yeah, today is getting better and better. Okay. All right. So Titan is a sylph. All right. This talks about natural energy, the energies of creativity and that kind of thing. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, you texted me not too long ago, huh?
I called you too.
Oh yeah.
Because I was going around all the parks instead of park.
Yeah, I was like, well, you know what? I was like, I need to go to a park, and
they're all
like,
sunny
well,
though.
Huh?
They're all sunny.
They're all sunny, yeah, and this one's the best one.
Yeah.
So I guess like this is the only one that I'm gonna go to, really.
Because I didn't want to interrupt you, so I went cruising kind of.
Yeah.
I couldn't find you, and I was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
doing videos?
Yeah, I'm actually live right now. I was reading the notes because I was doing notes basically over the last 4 days to see what I could draw for Libra.
Okay.
Because this is a 4-month reading. I'm doing what's going on in the May, June, July, and August.
Well, I'm gonna go to my grandma's.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Woo! All right. Drive safe, my baby. All right. So let's see. So, Flaff the Footer. Ah, yes. Flaff the Footer. You know, usually when Flaff the Footer shows up, it can show some type of imbalance, right? The need to sit down. Well, I mean, if you think about it, and during the Mercury retrograde, that is typically the time to slow down, to to sit, to understand what's going on, because if you don't understand your worth, then you're not going to have clear footing, right? Obviously. And if you don't have clear footing, well then how are you going to know what your next step is? So, understanding the bad and the good. See, if you look at the reading going this way, right? You have Lead of the Shadows right here, and she's pointing at the Pook. So, when we talk about this energy here of the Pook, and you know, the energy of what's causing the imbalance, I think looking at the specific details is good, but looking at the specific details without having a solution on how to fix them would just create more anxiety instead of fixing the problems. So, if you take a second to stop and take a look at the problem, what ends up happening is you end up coming up with a solution, and then the implementation of that solution, which comes from the mind, and then of course we'll see where he's pointing to, is available to you. It's possible for you to draw from those ideas or from that creativity. But it all starts now in this month of, well, actually it all starts in the month of May. So as soon as the first hits, I want you to think about this. I want you to understand, okay, what situations have you grabbed by the horns, and which situations have you grabbed by the horns but only have taken advantage of, to where, you know, you're left with very little result, if anything, right? Because we're looking for success here. We're not looking for a downward spiral of depression and what's known as dopamine error, dopamine depletion error, or some shit, or something like that. So, let's see, ecstasis. So, I think that by the month of August, if all of this is done, if you understand what your worth is and things like that, you'll understand how you can kind of cruise below the surface of emotions. You know, understanding when to use your emotions properly, but at the same time understanding that when your intuition tells you to use your emotions, go ahead and use them, and when your intuition tells you when not to use them, go ahead and not to use them. You know, the 272, 2727, whichever ones you guys are familiar with, those numbers, they talk about slowing down, and they talk about a decision that needs to be made based on analysis. Sevens were important in this number, so analysis is the only thing that came to mind. Twos seem to be very, very good in this reading too, because they denote balance. Sixes here would make the necromancer, so look at your everyday reality, look at the whole, right? Understand what the day is trying to tell you, and then look at the small details and the things that don't make sense, and try to make sense of them. Go into that unknown, if that makes any sense. And instead of reaching out, you know, instead of reaching out towards anxiety by not reaching solutions for your issues, try to see the better part of things, right? Try to see the good and the bad at those moments, and that allows you to oh, you know what, something just came to mind. So Mick the Necromancer was telling me, if you focus in on the greater details, try to find the bad and the good, right? And if you're going to look at the details, try to find the good and the bad, right? That's something that will help you to identify, you know, that better energy of understanding that wisdom that you're receiving. So something about a surprise or not a surprise, I can't remember what this card means in the reverse, but undressing the salad, this is what we're talking about. So let's go. All right. Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and go with this. Oh, they brought me a Skittles one too. That's cool. All right, so let's see what we get here. Let's get a clarification. All right, so yeah, in terms of looking at the good and the bad, or rather looking at the details, you know. What's that? No, I don't smoke. Sorry. Yeah. So in terms of this month, Libra, go ahead and look at those. Look at that situation, right? If you're gonna be looking at the greater aspect of things, you know, try to look at the bad and the good, right? You know, try to hone in on those little aspects and then try to make them better. That in some sense or some way, shape, or form is gonna make your reality seem a lot better. In the month of June, let's see what pops up. All right, yes. Clearness, clear, concise intellect. You know what? That's what Titan the Sylph is about. Clear, concise intellect. Oh, that's very interesting. You know, a lot of the times, if I just kind of sit on a card and wait, the universe will tell me what it's about. The King of Swords popping up next to the Hangman, it shows me that, you know, when you are illuminated, that illumination is going to bring you out of the shadows. Like literally out of the shadows. Because see, going this way, you have the octopus, leads into shadow. She's going out of the shadows by looking at the bad and the good, right? Then, if you look at the Master Maker, he's going to point out the solution, or rather, he's going to point out to what you create for the month of August. All right, so during the month of July, you guys might be tempted to speed up. This energy of creation might want to make you feel like you need to hurry up and do things, right? But I think what this whole thing is telling me is you need to take your time during these next couple months to understand what exactly needs to be built. Organization of your thoughts. Organization of the steps to reach your goals seems to be something that is called for within these next couple months. For any of you Libras looking to know how to do that, go ahead and let me know. And this Friday, after I am done with my psychology meeting, I guess I should say, my session, I am going to have the tools that I know I need and that I know may be useful for you to know how to set your goals and how to set steps to achieve those goals in a manner that prevents dopamine depletion error and actually does the opposite, which is the dopamine spike. Right? Who doesn't like a dopamine spike? Right, Libra? All right, so yes. Okay, let me get another card for these. Or let me get another one for these two, because I feel that July and August are tied for you. So, yeah, it's the ending of a cycle. That cycle needs to be closed out. Or this cycle, whatever it is that you're moving on from, needs to be closed out. And this cycles around defensiveness, feeling like people want to attack you, you know, things like that. You know, I kind of get like a victim mentality here. So let's go ahead and move these over. I want to go ahead and draw some affirmation cards just to see how this plays into it, well, into the greater role. And then I'm going to go into the book and we're going to get further clarification as to what these cards mean and what you're going to be doing during each of the months. This will be, this end part is going to be a summarization of what we just talked about and the summarization into each month. All right, so Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This is an affirmation that you need to tell yourself so that you can turn that energy into a positive notion. I feed my spirit, I train my body, I focus my mind. It's my time. So for the month of May, I want you to tell yourself that, Libra. Okay? I want you to tell yourself that, and tell yourself that as often as necessary. That'll put you into the Queen of Pentacles energy. Okay, so another thing that needs to be worked on, Seven of Swords. I possess the qualities needed to be extremely successful. Ooh, there you go. That kind of energy, it comes from understanding your own self-worth and knowing your own intrinsic qualities, right? That's the energy of the peacock. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And you know what? Look at this, is also something you can't make up. You see the master maker right here? He's pointing down this section here, which is talking about understanding what needs to be handled, right? Because that all comes from having a clear, concise vision of what you need to do, and then having a very, very clear, concise understanding of what your emotions are, what your mental constitution is, where your body is, right? Because that's important, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to reach the ending of this cycle. So, an affirmation for the master maker. Let's see. How can we become master makers? And what is the one affirmation that would help us reach that the most efficiently? There you go. Queen of Swords energy. I am choosing and not waiting to be chosen. Well, that to me seems like go-getter energy right there. You know what? Yes, we're definitely going to get into Leaves of the Shadows, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, Leaves of the Shadows. We're going to get into the octopus because that has something to do with it. And then Queen type energy. I mean, you don't usually get just Queen type energy in any reading. Like, this is, I mean, as far as these playing cards go, this is already a pair, guys. Growing a pair, I mean. If that makes any sense, that's hilarious. I don't know. All right. So, okay, I get it. So by the time you get to the month of July, you should be telling yourself, I am choosing not to wait and being chosen, or I am not waiting to be chosen. You're choosing yourself, and you're choosing to choose yourself rather than choosing to be chosen to be waiting. If that makes any sense. Okay, well, the way to do that, obviously, would be the Eight of Swords, and I am courageous and I stand up for myself. So by the month of August, I feel like there's going to be a test to that. There's going to be a test to your happiness, and I don't think it's going to be very much of a surprise to you guys. That's what I'm getting from that. At the bottom of it all, I am becoming closer to my true self every day. Yes. So as you do that, you will become closer to your true self every day. That's just a natural result of that. Okay, and then the last deck, we're gonna go ahead and draw. Okay, let's see, 39. I'm doing actually pretty good. I did like an hour and 10 minutes for Capricorn's reading. And you know what? I might actually be able to do another reading right now too. I'm getting yellow, and you know what? Gemini. We're gonna do Gemini next. We're gonna do Gemini in a live reading like this. However, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep it open. I want to see if any Geminis want to come out and play. Alright? You guys are chatty creatures, so you guys, I feel like at least one of you guys will. 7 seems to be important. So the 7 of spades. You know, when you talk about sevens, you talk about the energy of understanding balance, but understanding balance by understanding both dynamics. Uh, you know, even before this reading, I got that dynamic of, you know, understanding things, or I mean, of one thing and another thing, or, you know, light and dark, confident and lacking of it. And so, Seven of Swords energy, I'm trying to think. Seven of Swords energy is being strategic, but you can only be strategic when you analyze the situation, right? Look at that, King of Swords popping out on top of the King of Swords. So, very much so, in the month of June, there's going to be a lot of clarity for you, Libra. I'm going to go ahead and look at the month of June too. And then I'm going to get, probably, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make another reading, but I'm just going to make I'm just going to make a real quick reading for you guys for the astrology. I know I should have added the astrology and I should have been prepared. See, we were talking about preparedness, right? So, let's see. 6 is important. 6 of Pentacles, actually. So the 6 of Pentacles is understanding what to give your energy to and what not to give your energy to, right? And then, of course, when you think about the people in the 6 of the 6 of Pentacles energy, the 6 of Pentacles energy, it's like there's two people, they're begging, right? One's getting something, the other one isn't. But by July, I think this 6 of Pentacles energy is you giving your energy to certain situations and not giving them to others. I very much feel you're that lady in the picture and you're the queen, so to speak. And you're choosing what you give your energy to and who you give your energy to. And, well, that goes along with any other resources as well, right? 3. So, by the month of August, you're going to have a lot of creativity. Very much feel that even before the month of August, I think you should tell yourself that you're courageous and that you can stand up for yourself. And because you're choosing yourself and you're choosing to choose yourself and not to wait for you to be chosen, right? That's what I get out of this. And yep, that decision is purely yours to make. Okay, I want to go into the animal spirits here to read off what the animals are trying to tell us. Let's see. This is fire energy. Let's go into the elephant. Unstoppable, auspicious, and wise. So, in this month, I want you to be an unstoppable force when it comes to analyzing various different things, Libra. Even if people come up against you, they will cede to your auspiciousness. They will cede to your wisdom, because when it comes to the elephant is immense wisdom. Like, this is wisdom This wisdom is so immense and so grand that it's almost like that I would say it's the golden truth. Like, you have a golden truth within you, Libra, and it all takes trust. You know, I did say something about trust for Capricorn too, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I said it for Libra further up in the video, further in the front. But when it's out of balance, you misunderstand your fate. Now, I said something about your fate, understanding karma, understanding the cycles around karma, and understanding your actions. So, to bring it into balance, you need to trust the universe and trust that the path will soon become clear, right? Then, when you have it in balance, it's a one-pointed focus, right? That focus of the Page of Pentacles, understanding those opportunities that are coming to you, and then living generously and lovingly, right? Understanding who to give your pentacles to, who not to give your pentacles to, because that comes as a part of being generous in, you know, your wealth or your wisdom or your understanding, your resources overall. So, it illuminates the way of self-knowledge, or it illuminates the way with light of self-knowledge. So, look inside, Libra. You got the wisdom within you. And this Seven of Swords energy right here, this analysis energy, this ability to look at the various different details and aspects of life and to understand how to get yourself out of the darkness, that's not a skill that just anybody has. That's a skill that's specific to you, Libras who are hearing this video. Let's see. And that's for the month of June. For the month of June, for the month of May, I also want to see what affirmation comes up for that, because the Seven of Swords energy says, oh, okay, so Seven of Swords, my ability to conquer my challenges is limitless. So understand that your ability to conquer your challenges is limitless, and that will allow you to feed your spirit, to train your body, and to know your mind, and to know when it's your time, right? To understand when to get off the freeway exit when you see your exit coming up. It's pretty interesting. Okay, that's gonna be for the month of May. For the month of June, actually, you know what? I want to go ahead and take a look at the Mick the Necromancer 42, right? 42. Okay, so small clues, details, the messages everywhere, patience. Aha, the messages everywhere. Everywhere in your reality, the message might pop up. So take a look and find out where that message is coming from, right? A Myomancer reads the past, present, and potential of all beings in the movements of mice. Mick is particularly fond of reading the movements of field mice, as they are livelier and better fed than church mice. So, little things can tell us a lot. Everything bears messages about the universe around us. Studying the details sometimes enables us to deduce the whole. So, when Mick appears in the reading, attention to details is important at this time. And the little things are not only important in themselves, but they also give you important information about the larger things, right? Then, possibly we are ignoring information readily available to us because we think the source is not important enough to pay attention to. That goes to value, right? So, or perhaps we are seeing the messages and denying their validity because we don't like them. We're lying to ourselves. Let's see. These are very human, not very wise things to do. So on the other hand, we might need to realize that while everything has meanings, not all meanings are worth worrying about. Sometimes it is important to keep the broad picture in mind and avoid getting lost in the details. If we feel confused by too many details and can't see the storm for the raindrops, we can try backing up and looking at our overall goals and our situations. Right. Perfect. Thank you, Spirit, for letting us know that. Now, if we're thinking about that from the perspective of the bad and the good and the bad, then we simply have to look at the paradox situation, right? I've talked about the paradox on my channel very many times, right? Understanding the good and the bad and the good, yada, yada, yada. If you're experiencing some type of lack of confidence, well, that's going to lead you to confidence. Make sure it doesn't lead you into overconfidence, right? So, the Pook wishes to show us the good and the bad, but the Pook also wishes to show us the bad and what we think is good, and vice versa. This may confuse us further, or it may help us to gain more balance and understanding of how things really are. He is very against rigid mindsets, and his own way encourages the development of inquiring minds. His true face, I'm not certain that a shape changer ever has a true face, but Brian says that he still held it long enough for him to paint it. So I want you to take a look at it and let me know what you see in this face in the comments below. Okay? Okay, so when we get an answer, usually by a burst of insight cutting through the confusion, the King of Swords, and also the Page of Swords, right? We usually get the answer, usually in a burst of insight cutting through the confusion and paradoxes. It always seems so simple, and we wonder why or how we could have been in such a tizzy about so simple a thing. We wonder why everybody doesn't understand this is so very obvious. So it's time for the resolution of seeming contradictions and paradoxes in the situation, whatever the situation is, or whatever those situations encompass. Someone or some part of the situation is cloaked in confusion, and our muddled thoughts must be stripped away, revealing truth. We just need to think about it. The information we needed is now available to us from source, and possibly in other ways. And as soon as we have that burst of insight and get it, it's time for us to make changes based on our newly clear understanding. So this reading has been talking about that. Alternatively, it may be time for us to make a reality check on the good/bad labels we put on things. Make a list of the good, possibly even surprising things about the situation, and another list about the bad ones. If you are not in the habit of seeing the good in the bad and the bad in the good, having preferred a black and white world rather than one with colors, you may need some help in learning to do this well. So, I think it's an emergency, right? You know what? It's funny because Capricorn had the same thing going on too, in terms of like some type of emergency they need to get together now, right? So with this card in the reverse, there is a paradox that we are unable to solve at this time, and recognizing the paradox helps us move closer to a solution for it. But the information or the experience we need to resolve is not yet available to us. Obviously, the download. The trick here is to avoid becoming bogged down by this. Obviously, looking at the positives rather than the negatives. We need to get on with the other aspects of our lives while acknowledging the difficulty here. If possible, we need to postpone related decisions and then relax about it. Slow down. Knowing that the insight we need will come. But we cannot rush it. In fact, trying to rush it usually only causes us to become more deeply mired in confusion. Relax, wait, but stay alert, right? Stay alert. Stay alert. So, stay alert. Okay, next one. We move on to the month of June. All right, let's see what June has for you. This is air energy. So we go to the peacock. 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 Okay, so peacock is about inner beauty, compassion, and the assimilator of anything. Very fitting card. Actually, why didn't I remember about that assimilation of anything? Because once you see the beauty in yourself, nothing can knock you off your balance, right? So the beauty of the peacock is unrivaled, and it's easy to think that it comes from the plumage. But the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. Just like you, Libra. To bring into balance, you need to meditate on your navel. That's the solar plexus chakra right here. And the only way that you can do that is if you're able to assimilate or digest those experiences in your life, so that it doesn't harbor resentment. You don't harbor some kind of conflict. You don't harbor pain, or you don't harbor any of those things which will keep you from showing unconditional love to someone. The peacock type is extremely rare, and not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self or others. So Libra, this download that you're going to receive soon in the month of May should be something having to do with that. It's something having to do revolving around self-care, and it's also something having to do revolving around another aspect of that, which we'll get to right now. It's a 7, 8, and 9 process. So understanding understanding how to analyze the various situations specifically and in context to your life, understanding how you need to approach your self-care during those situations, and then from there understanding how to mirror that towards others so that you understand how to care for their needs as well. when you're out of balance, it's because you can't digest the situation, or you just don't have the patience to understand the situation enough to come to a more broader understanding of it. But when you do meditate on your navel and you meditate on that spiritual connection you have up to source or to your higher self, then you start to become confident and kind. That's that other side of the coin, right? We talked about this early when I first started this video. Okay, so that's good for that. Let's go ahead and look into the fairies oracles, and let's see what the fairies oracles have to tell us for the month of June. So Leaves of the Shadow, number 44. Number 44. It's about healing. It's about addictions. It's about bondage and self-esteem. So this self-esteem can come from the beauty that you have inside you, or from what you consider yourself as far as like your beauty. So Lee's works hard, and she has a very tough job to do, and she puts a great deal of tough love into it. So if you have anybody who has tough love on you, don't hold any resentment towards them. They're just trying to show you in a way that I feel you best learn, which I guess seems to be tough love. And she prowls the night streets looking for those in need of her help. For those of you staying up at night, or for those of you who have been waking up early, you have been visiting Leaves of the Shadows. She looking for those in need of her help and finds far too many of them. Leaves is the patron fairy of social workers, therapists, healers, and all others who try to help alcoholics and drug addicts and other souls caught in the darkness of their own inner shadows, or who are abused by those who should have protected them. However, she doesn't sit in an office somewhere. She is out there on the dark and dangerous streets, lending a healing hand here, soothing an anguished brow there, whispering comfort and encouragement into a lonely ear, and bringing a touch of hopeful rainbow light into the deepest shadows, including those in the darkened human hearts. So it seems that July is going to be a lot of looking back into what you learned. In June, it's going to be looking back into what you learned in May. So when you look at the energy here, ultimately, Leaf is trying to help develop your true self-respect and your true self-esteem. And but she has she has to start much further down on the scale of idealism than that. She tries to inspire practical help for those who need it most. So this is on the physical level there. She is the inspiration for the first wobbly steps taken by a damaged soul towards healing. Her presence in a reading indicates that something that had seemed lost and fixed in that loss is now open to healing. So there's some type of healing here. Obviously, the rose quartz was there for that reason as well. Somebody is ready to begin with help the climb out of the inner mire. There is hope here and a need for loving kindness tempered by practicality. So if you guys have anybody showing tough love, help them to show you how to show you that tough love, rather than them trying to be like clear cut, light and dark about what tough love is or not. In the reverse, she's signifying that there's bondage to addictions of some kind, whether that's drug, alcohol, or sex, or whatever. That's up to you, Libra, and that's specific to your situation. And compulsive and self-destructive behavior. There's anger directed towards the self and probably towards others, and hitting the bottom of the cycle. It may even seem that there's no possible way up, and it can also seem to indicate false friends who lead one astray. Separation, loneliness, and isolation are usually present. So if you're experiencing any type of that energy where you're lonely, where you have separation from others and you have isolation, well then this can indicate false friends, or this can indicate people that don't really care for you, Libra. So pay attention to that. And also, if you call upon Leaves for assistance in helping another, she will always give it, often by encouraging that person to be receptive to others and also to be helpful. So a person may sink to this level because of feelings of guilt. If so, she needs to consider the value of atonement. At one meant with self, instead of dividing ourselves into judge, criminal, and executioner. It's not always possible to make reparation to those we have hurt, but it is always possible to begin working at developing a better balance with the cosmos through action. So that's the action there, is becoming more, possessing the qualities needed to be extremely successful, and then also feeding your body, your spirit, training your mind, knowing your mind, and knowing when it's your time, is all going to come from leaves of the shadows and from understanding the bad and the good and the good and the bad when that paradox begins to flip itself. Don't get confused. Don't get flipped around like a pancake. Just allow yourself to sit there and understand, like a stuck piece of food to a pan, to understand what those feelings are like on both sides of the spectrum. So the singers of courage and healing are with us if we're open to them. So helping others is one way of opening our hearts, and the singer of courage is number 8. So if the singer of courage comes out in any way, shape, or form, it's going to come out in the form of self-care and understanding how you can better yourself in that fashion, right? So let's see. Tiatin the Sylph, right? Tiatin the Sylph is about acute intellect, quickness, mental synthesis, and discernment. This card is in the upright. That card reduces down to 9 as a single number. So 9 is about humanitarianism, maybe providing some humanitarianism to people, might be in the works for the near future. Understanding where to give that energy seems to be something that could be connected to that. Mental synthesis and discernment. So she scatters a special fairy dust that energizes the mind, and she glitters and glimmers brightly. I would imagine that when she has touched you, your mind is going to glimmer brightly. However, energy is not everything, and the fairy dust that actually makes minds brighter as well as more energized is more rare, and she distributes that much less often. Tiatin reminds us that the ideas cannot be confined. They are wild and free. They move fast. Some ideas are more contagious than the flu, and they move quickly from head to head, sometimes illuminating and sometimes burning out with a flicker and a flash and a faint whiff of ash. So there seems to be something about grabbing an opportunity before it vanishes that comes to mind. The sylph is a fragment of the earth's soul in fairy form, and in the fairy realms, light comes not from above but from within, as it does with us. Tiatin is not one to consult about that. Try Laista or the Dark Lady for that. When Tiatin bestows is more ephemeral but nevertheless of value. She is an awakener, one who startles us into seeing and thinking in new and exciting ways. So be open to that, Libra. She loves to sit in on teenage and college-age discussions about the profound questions of life, and she is full of bright ideas and willing to discuss them at length. In the month of June, she's going to help you a lot by understanding how you possess those skills that you need, or that you know you have inside you, right? There seems to be something about talents, about you being a master, and you figuring this out in the month of June. And I think that is what brings about this King of Swords, this double King of Swords energy. Well, I mean, why not, right? So, what we see here is mental quickness, adaptability, and enthusiasm, right? When we talk about the Pook, he doesn't like stiffness of mind. Ideas and opinions abound, and a few are brilliant, but others vary from mediocrity to downright silly. Be selective, and the mental and psychic abilities may be awakened. Independent thinking is in operation. New ideas and new versions of old ideas are creating an exciting, effervescent atmosphere, and avoid excesses and extremes. Minds may change often as new ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. But if you find a good idea, something that has value to you, run with it. Out of conflict and confusion, resolved by goodwill and clear thinking, a new and better understanding may come. See, there's the solution there. So that's the 7, 8, 9 jump. That's the 7, 8, 9 sequence. If you've been seeing 7, 8, 9, go ahead and comment that in the description below, okay? Let's see. All right, so let's move on to the octopus. Jeez. And that's for the month of July. What do you have to show us, octopus? It's a water card. See, there's no reason why you should be feeling like you're floundering in the dark, Libra, because you got all the wisdom inside you. So, with all that wisdom inside you, I would say put it to work. So, reaching and yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. So, yeah, lacking a direction. I think you're going to be able to find that soon enough. Certainly within this 4-month period, you're definitely going to find it. So the octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. That might be talking about those ideas that just seem downright silly, but we'll see. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that what it means to be close, if you notice that after spending time with them that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of the octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries, be patient and firm, and it may be a very old habit to change. So to bring this into balance, space to oneself and talk therapy, so talk to yourself, that might help. And especially in the month of July, if you ever feel the need to be clingy and you lack courage, right, there's that 8 energy there, have that space to yourself and understand who you are and what your boundaries are, and just try to find a little bit more of your direction. And that should get you interested, engaged, and intelligent in terms of your mind, and it should sharpen and help focus your mind into the aspects of the things that you do like, and that actually it would allow you in choosing you rather than waiting to be chosen. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, so let's go into these other cards here, and then let's see. Flaff the Footer, 58. Flaff the Footer, what do you have to show us for July? So it's about being real, earthing, and grounding. So I think once you've figured out your worth during the month of May and June, during July, it's going to be a lot of, kind of just slowing down for a second, kind of taking things slowly. Because when you understand your worth, and then you understand, how to be real, in a sense of how to be real to yourself, well, it's just a natural, effervescent effect of, it's emanating, that energy emanating outward from you. And so just as life is becoming surprising and exciting and very interesting, Flaff the Foot Fungus Fairy comes along to check out our feet. He picks up one foot in his remarkably strong hands and looks it over for fluff between the toes, smelly fungi, and dirty, untrimmed toenails. If he finds any of these signs of disrespect for our feet and for Earth Mama, walking on her with grubby feet, yuck, he marks them by making holes in our socks. If things are really bad, he sends mice to eat our dancing shoes, so we will be forced to dance barefoot in the dewy meadows under the moon. If it happens that we have snow instead of dew, that is just our tough luck. So Flaff may have fungi on his fingers from someone else's foot, and if our feet are not clean, both energetically and physically, the fungi are apt to take root. So if any of you guys are witnessing any type of foot diseases, foot fungi, any as Flaff says, fluff between the toes, then it's necessary to energetically and physically clean ourselves, right? And that is apt to help us to take care of that from the inside rather than trying to take care of it just from the outside. This is not a good position for a human to be in. This is a test, and repeat, this is a test. You have been warned. The test is to get both feet back on terra firma. Do not try to do anything important or make any significant decisions until you have come back to Earth. Anything you attempt to do while standing with your feet in the air is apt not to work, if you are lucky. If you are unlucky, it will work, but not at all in the way you intended. So yeah, there seems to be a very, very big emphasis on what you learn during the month of May and June. So in the reverse, well, stroke your feet gently with both hands, each one for 5 minutes. You can also check for holes in your socks while doing this. Paint your toenails bright red. Then your toes say, a cherry, or shouldn't that be a cherry? Hey ya! To you when you look at them, and this reminds you to keep them on the ground. Even when you can't see them, it will probably still remind you, especially if you are a man. So, that's one quick fairy tip for earthing, or for grounding yourself. So, breathe, ground, center, and help. Get someone to send a balloon up and pull you back down to earth with it. This is urgent. It is difficult, sometimes impossible, to contact you from planet Earth while you are floating off into your own personal soap bubble. Do come back. Do this right now, Libra. The world is full of sharp edges for soap bubbles to run into, and they go pop and tumble us to the ground, or to the hard ground, or into dark and dangerous waters below. The better choice is to bring our own selves down gently into the embrace of Earth Mother. Alternatively, learn to fly properly. This card reversed can also speak of those who draw their energy from others rather than from the source. Ecstasy song. So the emphasis in August is going to be very much on the emphasis of July. Having lost awareness of that fundamental connection, it can indicate that we have lost a proper sense of ourselves as a whole and wholly, and are seeing ourselves as much less than we are. Are you seeing yourself as much less than you are, Libra? If you are, you better stop that shit. So, we see a very, very strong aspect of that. I'm going to go to the Master Maker. I want to see what the Master Maker says. Skills, craftsmanship, magic, moral strength, invention. And the Master Maker is the master of the forge upon which we create our futures and forge our own souls. You manifesting generators out there, this is specifically for you. This reading here, I very much feel is specific for you, but some of the aspects of this can be greater, concentrated into the overall Libra energy. So he sings as he works, and in all fairy magic, his song does as much to shape objects as do the blows of his hammer. Healing cups, magic swords, fairy jewels, crowns of stars, and other bespelled works of the finest craftsmanship pass through his forge and beneath his hammer. The master of fire, air, earth, and water, he builds the fairy element of moonlight to everything he creates. He would be the first to tell you that superb craftsmanship, however magical, is hard work. Joyful and energizing hard work, but always challenging. And as the Master Maker reminds us, no job is too small to do beautifully. His work is done as well as possible, and even where it will never be seen by anyone else. I think some of you Libras may be struggling with that. Like, regardless of whether anybody sees it or not, I feel like you should make it regardless. Regardless. And that's going to be for the month of July, right? So, the Master Maker has the moral strength to refuse the temptation to do anything less. And he is a protector and teacher of the traditional values of his craft. Once again, values. Yet in the balance to all of this, the Master reminds us that we also need to learn our own limits. Not everyone can do everything superbly. When we discover our talents and choose our craft, then we gain great joy and fulfillment from developing that skill into an art. But I think, Libra, you already have that. For those who haven't, I think you already have an idea of how. So, do whatever you do as well as you can, and then make it even better. I think you Libras are familiar with that, making things better part. The Master Maker reminds us that our very best work is always desirable and in the present situation, and it is necessary for success. In fact, that ties into the June information and possessing the qualities needed to be extremely successful, right? That all comes from training your spirit, feeding your spirit, knowing your mind, training your body, and knowing that you're kind. Whether, okay, so don't cut corners. Wait. The Master Maker reminds us that our very best work is always desirable, and in the present situation, it is necessary for success. In fact, he always asks that we surpass our best work. Don't cut corners and don't take the easy way. Whether making a thing or fulfilling a concept, be sure it is elegant, pure, and functional, and then follow it, attending to every detail in its turn. He says, design beyond your skill, and then raise the level of your skill to fulfill it. That means reach out into the unknown, and then bring the unknown into the known to make what is unknown known. If that makes any sense. Okay. He says, give and accept only the best, and do it with the love of your craft. Ooh, that's that sixth energy. Whatever the craft may be. This card speaks of long-lasting achievement, creative problem-solving, and confident action. It may suggest cooperating with others, especially from a position of responsibility or of teaching one's craft to others. Success comes from practical application of traditional principles in life and in work. Ooh. That right there. That is interesting. That is extremely interesting. Hella interesting. Okay. Oh, Jesus. That's how you end this cycle. This is the thing that you need to do on an everyday level, Libra. It's the analysis, training your body, feeding your spirit, knowing your mind. Like this, all of this is self-care. Self-care. I think if there was any reading that, said anything, just one phrase, self-care. Okay, so the last card, the crocodile, and this is for the month of August, and then I'll throw some dice out there and close this out. Crocodile, la 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 la. Crocodile. It's about resting, submerging, collecting energy, and cooling off. Okay, so during the month of August and going into the next retrograde, which will be in August. I think it's August. I think it's August 14th, August 15th, something like that. As when the station's direct. The energy here is about resting and submerging yourself in your own positive energy to cool off. And the crocodile reminds us to step back from the external world and to turn inward. So this whole thing is about using your skills to get out there and then returning yourself back inside and preparing yourself for the next Mercury retrograde, which is set in Virgo, and that's also going to help you figure out details and things like that. So now is not the time for decisions, so that comes in the month of August for action or for decisions and all of that. The crocodile mantra is wait. This doesn't mean lying around hoping life's challenges will disappear. The crocodile is much smarter than that, and it means intentionally withdrawing, gathering your awareness, observing, and building energy. Fill up the vital reserves so your next move comes from a place of wisdom and power. Ooh, yeah, that's great. When in balance, wise, patient, and silent powerhouse. When out of balance, you'll feel stuck, lash out, and that's not the energy you want, right? That's that Nine of Swords energy. Rest and do some yoga, and that'll help you to be that wise, patient, and silent powerhouse. That'll allow you to get into that Four of Swords energy that you started to develop during the month of July. And it'll also help you to get that happiness that you're looking for in the month of August as well. Okay, so, woo! This is a very, very big reading. Actually, this is longer than Capricorn's reading. Okay, so with ecstasy, this is a singer's energy. Singer's energy isn't really bad when it's reversed, but it could speak about various different aspects of the necessary need to do certain things to reach that happiness. And okay, and when you talk about it, it's mostly about motivation. So ecstasy is a song, the energy and the power that fills unity. So we talked about unity a little bit. There's nothing else but that song. No voice to sing, no ears to hear, just the infinite and eternal song, the energy of which completely fills eternity and infinity. This rhapsodic song of bliss is what powers the cosmos and what gives order and harmony. It is a song that holds the atoms together, the stars in their places, the galaxies in theirs. It keeps our hearts beating, and it is the love and trust that flows through them. So in unity, there is nothing but the song, the outpouring of undifferentiated energy, the power felt in a mystical experience. The void, so often spoken of in spiritual literature, is not empty but full, so full that there is no space between one singing and the next. There is nowhere to stand outside of unity and look at it, marveling at the energy of this world's reality and fairy as well. We have the sensory illusion that you and I are separate and that we are not directly connected, and that what happens when a finger is lifted on a small planet circling the farthest star as the most distant galaxy does not affect us. We need this illusion because at this stage of our evolution, we are not ready to be aware of the full song in more than very short bursts. Those are downloads, if even that. The singers are capable of this, but we are not. At least we are not able to do this just yet. It may take a while for us to get there, but that is where we are headed, knowingly or unknowingly. So, our ears are too small to hear this song, only our souls are big enough. The song rings throughout everything, and the wind in the trees, the radiance of distant stars, the beat of a mouse's heart, the rumble of a digestive system, the quiet gurgling of a planet's capillaries, the deep unheard rum of Earth, and the passing by of right? Scientists have recently discovered a hitherto unheard part of Earth's song, which is a very deep and very slow rumble at 7 hertz. Some of them think, I think it's like 7.32 hertz. Some of them think it may be caused by the changing atmospheric pressure, like a gentle, slow patting on a drum. Of course, changes in atmosphere come primarily from changes in solar wind and radiation, so on. In essence, we see that Earth Mother is being gently patted, caressed by Father Sun, and she purrs and hums in response, as do we. Her children, and everything is linked, everything is part of the one song of ecstasy. So, if ecstasy is here in the reading, it's something that people are seeking, and it feels better than good. It feels ecstatic. We experience it in tiny bursts and in big surges, and it enables us to recognize the sacred nature of our own being as an experience to that. And experiencing that fact not merely as a theory of or article of faith. Well, it comes from the energy of 4, so balance and stability, but it also comes from, well, because we have the master maker at 2-2, so that's how you reach that stability. But at the same time, it talks about the changes that are necessary coming from your intuition to reach this balance and stability, to reach that happiness. It has a lot of that 8 connotation to it, so we're going to say that 8 is a very, very important number here. So, if you may be feeling sorrowful or grieving, remember that these feelings too are a part of the great song. They are part of love. Don't try to block them, and don't try to deny them. Let them flow, and if your song is mournful, sing it that way. Let the energy move. Let it run freely until it changes. It is important to let ourselves feel what we feel without denial or blocking, so that we process those feelings naturally and digest them until they transform within us. Only by finding creative expression for such feelings may we complete their process and move beyond them. If life is not going as you wish, live it, right? Choose instead of being chosen. Acknowledge it, express it, creatively, appropriately go through it and beyond it. Find the creative balance between wallowing in emotions and denying them. We can accept and gradually transform our feelings. There is a saying, this too shall pass, and it is true about everything. All of our joys and all of our sorrows. Live it, let it pass so that tomorrow can bring you new life, all the deeper and richer for what you have passed through. Hey, that's pretty deep. That's how you live courageously. That's that creative energy that the spirit is looking for you to encompass, so that you have the ability to have that discernment necessary to have a clear-cut vision of what you're looking for. And all of that is only possible when you have the ability to understand what is necessary to build within yourself to get yourself out of the shadows. So 64, we're going to the pook. The pook is one of the last parts, right? Yep. I mean, not the pook, gotcha. So gotcha is about sudden shocks and unexpected events and rude awakenings. I would say if anything's happening in your life right now and it's anything of a rude awakening, well, this is what everything is leading down to. So gotcha is the out of the blue fairy. He likes to surprise us, and you know, you're walking along minding your own business or not minding any business at all, and then the universe smacks you on your blind side with something that makes an awful splat, right? Like that. Unexpected demands from the tax man. The bank's hole-in-the-wall machine eats your bank card late at night while the burly and irritable taxi driver is waiting. Your children find a way to dye themselves green just before your in-laws arrive. A meteor hits your car or something to that effect, right? Gotcha is, of course, perhaps capable of happy surprises as well as shocking or miserable ones. Perhaps your lottery ticket wins. There is a school of thought that says this is just karma. And so we talked about karma, and we deserve it for sins we have totally forgotten in other lives. Not so. Karma is about lessons we need to learn, not about punishment. And meaningless events don't teach us much. So this may be about karma, but this isn't that kind of karma. There is another school of thought that says that all of these things are our choices. We choose to be there when this is happening, and we choose hold on, guys. Oh, I seem to have gotten a bug in my book. Bug blood. Gihobia. Fears that are unimaginable, and also talks about unreal hazards. Unreal hazards. You know, I got the feeling of caution or hazards. So I wonder what. Perhaps you don't need to be cautious about things that are unrealized cautions. Okay, continuing on, we'll find out what that means right now. So we choose to be there when this is happening, and we choose to step in front of the invisible cosmic bus. There is some truth to this, on one level of being high in the superconscious. As Gotcha says, I know more than I see, but most of us don't function at that exalted intuitive level of consciousness much of the time. However, many of us do get hints, little flashes of intuition, and sometimes even big flashes of intuition. And we have to say, I knew I shouldn't have gone that way, or trusted that person, or invested in that stock. There are two things Gotcha is trying to teach us. He says, first, that he doesn't enjoy doing it, but do I believe him? Actually, we should. Mostly. First, we need to learn to listen, to trust our intuition, and we need to be awake and aware. This is just part of what we need to learn in order to fulfill our potential to have happy and satisfying lives. Without it, we are sleepwalking in the world, right? Missing all of the wonders and joys, while not missing any of the bumps and pitfalls. Second, where there are lessons, we need to learn, or when there are experiences that are not properly to other people, but that have impact on us, we can, from it, regain our balance as quickly as possible. Things happen, we can't always control them, and we can't always get out of their way. We don't always even have a choice about them. For example, to live with a beloved animal friend probably means that you are going to lose that creature at some point, because most pets have shorter lives than humans do. Other things happen as well. People occasionally win huge sums of lotteries, but in this too, we need to be able to to be able to take in our stride and not be completely lost in it. So Gotcha knows we like to build sturdy, rigid structures in our minds and lives, and so this influence here is to break that rigid mentality. So so to do that, Gotcha kindly delivers these surprises. So Gotcha came out in the reverse, and it speaks of sudden and sometimes violent breakdowns of existing structures. I think that's true to the greater extent, not just for you, Libra. So I think for the month of August, we should be expecting some more people leaving their positions. We should be expecting some more people losing their jobs and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe that's that opportunity for you that happens in August. So be looking out for that, especially in your craft, whatever it is. If you see people getting kicked out of their position and you feel you have the intelligence and you have the skills and the talents, throw yourself in there. As Gotcha says, I know more than what I see, then jump right in. Fairly certain that your skills will shine brightly, and that'll be the master maker energy there. So that's for the month of August, but basically May, June, and July get you prepared for August. So in the reverse, it talks about stagnation. So there's a necessary need to break rigid thinking. And it may seem that the situation is forever stuck, mired down in a swamp of misery, boredom, and pain. You know, you can actually see that when you go from the octopus to Leaves of the Shadows, right? And then, of course, the crocodiles, they wait in the shallow waters, but a lot of the times they go into the deep, and they'll just sit there and wait for something to hit the top of the water. So, so it is, and it will be, and it will remain so until someone, probably the querent, voluntarily sacrifices something outgrown but tightly clung to in order to acquire something better. Bear in mind that the only true meaningful sacrifice is ourselves, our time, our energy, our attitudes, and beliefs. Gotcha standing on its head suggests that we can break loose from this pattern by dedicating ourselves to some service. Some voluntary but meaningful sacrifice that will loosen the knots, break loose the cement around the joints, and set us free. Gotcha would like to see us do this and save him a lot of effort. Otherwise, he offers helpfully, I'll come and help you break loose just as soon as I have a moment to spare. And believe me, you don't want him to come surprise you with various different things. So let's see what kind of planet energy or astrological energy you're going to be encompassing. Maybe this will help us find out what I'm going to be able to do as far as astrologically, or the information that's supposed to be looked for. Libra, your energy is split between relationships, spiritual energy, the truth, and Aquarius. So basically, I would say remain truthful in your relationships. If there's anything that you have to do online, I would say remain truthful in that too. Try to encompass the more higher spiritual aspects whenever you get online, and that should go well for you. And planet energy to encompass would be the moon. Trust your intuition as these changes take place. The best energy to move forward is Martian energy, one type energy, and that's doing so from your own wisdom. That comes from training yourself on a daily level. So keep that in mind, and take it slow and understand what your values are, and you should do good within these next 4 months up until the next retrograde reading, when I do another reading for you guys. So with that, I hope that you guys found this helpful. I'm going to do an astrology reading hopefully within this next day for you, Libra, to try to see what the astrology is holding for you, and trying to see what's going on with your planets and all of that. So with that, Libra, thank you for being here. Thank you for those who joined in. Thank you for that like. If you feel like this reading is very, very helpful for the next couple months, go ahead and share that in the comments. Tell me what you think, because you know, when we talk about these readings are there for you guys to draw some kind of insight, and then from there, you guys talking to me allows me to draw more cards and to do bonus readings throughout these couple months, while also kind of giving me some ideas of articles that I could write so that you guys can read them, so that it allows you to overcome more difficult aspects in your life. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and drop a comment. Go ahead and like it, share it, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and especially if you want to see bonus readings for each of your signs. So with that, I am just going to go ahead and end the reading here. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. Go ahead and shine on, and I will see you in the next video, Libra. You guys take care.